Was basically involved in something. She retired from West 95, but it's something you back down and, stuff.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the 2006 season of Park Township Board meetings. January, welcome. It's not snowing, a little rain, different greeting coming in the door. So glad the public is all here. I ask you to rise. I'll open with prayer and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. In this new year, 2026, we just pray for guidance as this board takes up many issues. You know the plans of 2006, and may we just lean into you for your guidance throughout this year. Thank you for this time that we can spend together as colleagues on the board. We celebrate that we have members of our community engaged in what we're doing, and may this meeting be a blessing to you and to our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it's good to see my colleagues in the new year. Thank you. Happy New Year and welcome. The season has begun. Approval of the agenda. We have certainly a full agenda with the PUDs. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda that you suggest or change? All right, seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Support. All in favor, say aye. And the motion passes. Approval of the minutes and the payments of bills. That was a minor portion of our board packet. It would seem to this time 445 pages or whatever it was. This was the small section. Any corrections to the minutes and or questions on the payment of bills on the consent agenda? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda. So moved. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. All right, we're going to move to public comment. I'm just going to make a note that if you're going to talk about the Point West PUD, the Foxglove PUD, or the Staplewood PUD, or the Pedalo Apartments PUD, or the Industrial Development District PUD, Campus Farms, I'm going to ask you to pause. And we're going to do those at item number 9. I think some of you have the agenda. We're going to do that as item number 9. I'd like to have this public comment for anything else but those 5 things. All right, that makes sense? Okay, all right, okay. So public comment. There's 2 public comments. Well, actually, we're going to have 3 public comment times. We appreciate your participation in this meeting. You have the right to address the board on any issue, and this is the time that any issue that I'd appreciate you talking about. It's your time for your time. We respectfully listen. We'll listen, but not engage in conversation. It may seem odd, but we do have an agenda in township business to attend to. If you further desire discussion on the topic, please schedule an appointment with myself or Manager Bill Cousins, and we'll help you through the issue or question you might have. On the top of the dais there is a legal pad, I assume, or a sign-in sheet. A sign-in sheet. I just appreciate, just for the public record, if you would put your name and address on that sheet. So in order to keep the meeting moving, if you can please limit your comments to 2 minutes, we appreciate that. And so thank you in advance for keeping your comments respectful. Again, if these are, this comment period is for anything but those other PUDs. So I'll start on the right side. Is there anyone on the right, my right, your left, anybody that would like to speak to us on any other issue than the PUDs? Start, please.
Was concerned about I guess it's Foxglove PUD.
If you can wait a moment, and then we'll do them all together. I'm sorry, I'll get a little closer. Thank you. Yep. It is. Can you hear me now? Okay, I'll get a little closer. Yes, please come to, please, yeah.
I'll write my name on here in a moment.
Please.
My name is Anna White. I just came tonight to introduce myself. I'm running for Ottawa County District Court Judge. I announced last December. I recognize a couple faces on the board here, but Park Township is my home township. I live around the block, so I wanted to come and make my first township visit to be yours. So just wanted to introduce myself. I have materials with me tonight if anyone has any questions. I know that this isn't an opportunity to do a whole campaign speech, but I just wanted to make sure I introduced myself to all of you and thank you for all the hard work you do. As a neighbor, I really appreciate all the improvements and all the work that's happening here. So thank you so much for your time. I'll write my name here.
Great, thank you. Anyone else from the left side, my right, that would like to speak on any other issues than the PUDs that are later on the agenda? All right, seeing none, I'll switch to the left. My left, your right. Any person that would like to talk? Going back into the audience? Don't be bashful. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public comment. All right, just a reminder, as a routine, but a reminder for us as township officials, the mission, vision, mission, and values. Park Township is a family-friendly, connected community that values our natural features, agricultural character, and recreational opportunities. We proactively listen and lead, providing exceptional services and amenities while carefully stewarding our resources. And we're going to do it with integrity, respect, and being genuine. So with that in mind, we will proceed with our agenda. So in our board packets, we had a number of reports. Any comments or questions for our staff about what we read, about what's going on? I'd just like to make a comment and say congratulations to our fire team and the excellence that they continue to have. Record number of calls, but also something of note. Chief, you were, I'm going to goof it up. You were certified at a higher level to provide medical services. Do you just want to, just a moment, just come on up and tell us what that certification is. It's a pretty significant certification, and I think our neighbors and residents should know this.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, when we first started it out in 1997, Park Township got certified as an MFR responder. So basic medical response when a medical comes. We will get called there about the same time the ambulance, but because we live in the area, we get there first and we start medical care for the patients getting ready to transport to the ambulance. Part of the whole project when we took over the EMS from the E unit was that we were going to upgrade our license to a basic life support or EMT. Next license up. What that allows us to do is give 7 different types of medication that really focuses in cardiac and respiratory care that we can give the patients orally and stuff like that. So it took a long time to go through that process, submit the application. The state had us work through that process. They came out and inspected all of our licensed vehicles. We went from 2 vehicles now to 5 vehicles that are licensed. We got to carry a certain amount of equipment on that, and we have to train continuously on medication dosage, stuff like that we do. But now we're at an EMT level. So if we continue to progress and stuff, the next level to go up would be to a paramedic level. And that's something maybe later down in the future, but really big step for us to get just to there. Just to supply the state with the application was over 675 pages of documentation about Park Township and our organization and our township. So yeah, a big relief to get through that. So
Thank you, Chief. I think it's just something our community should know that we continue to focus on their safety and always fire, medical, and marine. So thank you, Chief, for what you do for our community. Any other questions or comments about the reports? All right, let's move on. Okay, so we're going to go to, may seem just a titch odd, but we're going to go through 5 different public comments. And so we're going to take them one by one, so not try to mix them up. So if I can request our audience to kind of run with me on this one. So let's work on, let's do a public comment on the first one, A, Point West PUD. So I'm going to ask anyone who's interested in talking to the Point West PUD, please come to the podium, raise your hand, come and say your comments about them. Please come to the front.
Good evening, Dirk Walcotton, here with my father. We represent 2421 Crescent Walk out in McIntyre Park. And obviously we've been following along and attending meetings for Planning Commission, and excited that it is now in front of you. And we're looking forward to, after many months, to be able to move forward. So our hope, our comment here is that that you put your faith in the Planning Commission and what they can do, and I think they came with a recommendation, and we're hoping that you will pass this tonight. One of the letters that you received, which is from our neighbor Doug Welvord, mentioned us in his letter that we are actually in the purpose or in the procedure of trying to sell, and because of the timeline of this, we've lost a buyer, and so that we're obviously excited to have this move forward so that we can move forward with that process. So anyway, thank you for your time tonight, and I'll sign the thing here.
Anyone else who would like to talk to the Point West PUD project or proposal? All right, we'll close the public hearing on that. We're going to be Foxglove PUD, the Foxglove PUD. Who would like to talk to the Foxglove? Yes, please. As soon as he's done signing, please.
You have to wait till I'm done the reins.
All right, thank you.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for all you do. I was here at the last meeting and met some of you, but I live on Jerome Street, and the Foxglove project is going to, or was planning on entering and exiting on Jerome. We were concerned about that because of the lack of sidewalks on our street. It's a very small street with no stop signs, no yield signs at any of those cross streets. So I think as residents, we're concerned with that. Bosgroff's properties, I love what he does. I think it's beautiful. I think his work is great. We're just concerned with the safety of the children and the older adults that live on the street. I think with the entrance on Jerome and then onto Beechwood, it's going to increase the traffic. So that was my concern, is that the traffic on Jerome is not really built, or the street of Jerome is not really built for that without sidewalks. And so that was my thought. So again, I don't oppose growth. I think, as I said before, we've always known that the farmer's field would at some day be sold. But always assuming it would go out to 32nd Street because that's a main entrance. I didn't understand the fire, I guess the code is if there's more than 32 homes, and maybe I'm incorrect, you need 2 entrances, is that correct? If it was an entrance with a circle, it could have been 1, right? Or
Chief Canby can maybe speak to that.
Okay.
We can probably do that after public hearing.
Okay. Okay, so again, those are our concerns from many of the residents on the street, but thank you for the consideration.
Hi, my name is Steve Podekar. I live on Jerome Street, and I have the same concerns that Patricia does. We have children, old people. We have a little, I guess it's from what I understood in the last meeting, it's about the smallest street you can put without sidewalks and everything on it. We were disappointed that it has to be, I guess, 32 homes. I guess they could make it smaller, number of homes and go to one access from what we were told in the last meeting. Again, we were just another concerned neighbor that lives over there that isn't, I'll say, enjoyed the limited access of our property, and this would take it away and, just create some more, I don't want to say more problems, probably would be, but again, I support the development too, and I was really surprised. I think they said there were going to be $800,000 plus homes. Nice tax benefit to the township, I guess. But again, I would hope that maybe they don't have to make it 32. They can make it 30 or 28 or whatever, and maybe charge $900,000 a home. Anyway, that was my concern, and just to let you know here, signing.
As he signs his name, is there anyone else who would like to speak to the Fox Club?
Oh, can I ask one other question? Does anybody on the planning committee live on the south side of Lake Macatawa?
I can't speak to that. I don't know where they all live.
I know what?
I don't know where they all live.
Okay. Well, it just seemed like there was a lack of concern, but anyway.
Good question though.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
People I know and the people I don't know, welcome, Boscraft, father and son. My name is Tom Springholt. Live at 1517 Jerome Street. Going on about 40 years, looking over at Watchers Field for the 40 years. I guess I'm here because to have an exit entrance connecting Jerome Street, it's tough to handle because I consider that part of Jerome Street almost like a safety zone. You can take a Saturday afternoon, a Sunday afternoon, you'll see families come down there. You'll see dad and moms training their little kids to ride a bike, knowing that there's no traffic coming through or strollers coming through. And at one time, Jerome never even, Consumers Energy runs from 32nd Street to Jerome. And then John Mauder kind of had a 2-track, built a house, built another house, built another house. So he ended up with 5 houses back in there. And out of the 8 houses at the end, I've been living there the longest. So I would appreciate anything from the Boscrafts, from the drainage, because right now there's they call it a pond. It's actually a little irrigation pond. And I'm concerned that they're not going to have any containment, for overflow. I've been on the phone with Mr. Joe Bush, and then today with Bonnie Broadwater from the state, and so they're concerned about that too. Make sure the water doesn't pollute that creek, which goes into Black Lake Mac, and then into Lake Michigan. Because salmon have gone up that creek, smelt have gone up that creek, and on any given day, I have seen great horned owls feeding from that creek. Many hawks. And the other day, a bald eagle decided to grab a fish and eat it 20 feet from my window. So I'm hoping that they'll think that over, father and son, and not contaminate the end of Jerome Street. And that's all I got to say. I'm just hoping that they care,
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? Going once, twice.
I wasn't able to meet at the last meeting, but it seems like somebody stated, like an Eddie stated that he lives in a no outlet community and he loves it. And then I guess Mr. Carpenter said, he stated that exiting through Jerome Street is not convenient as they have to go through side streets before getting to the South Shore Drive. And that's a true fact, because I've seen people, because there's new houses on Elmer Street and Harding Street, and I've seen them come flying around the corner, they come flying down Jerome Street, and because it's a dead end, they get mad, and they'll spin around and take off. And that's why I'm hoping that they will do that, no entrance on Jerome. So, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hi, I'm Josh Nelson. I'm a resident on Harding Street, and we've watched all the growth that have happened since the sale of the school and the property there. A couple summers ago, unfortunately, a young man was hit on the corner of Grove and Jerome because there's so much traffic, increased traffic, even from about 8 or 10 houses on Harding Street. So you put all those houses in and connect it through to Jerome. I share the same safety sentiments. Not opposed to growth. Love Mike and his work and great people, but connect it to 32nd and keep it on 32nd where it belongs. So, thank you.
Josh, what's you said Howard?
Harding Street.
Harding Street. Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? All right, we'll close the public hearing on the Foxglove. All right. Moving along, the next one is Stablewood PUD. Is there anyone from the audience that would like to speak about the Stablewood PUD? Yes, please.
My name is Mark Olnick, live in Township. 3496144, directly east of the Stablewood project. I hesitated because I know it's pretty much already been determined. But having read the packet, I'm astounded by the number of units. And what they say they have is 22.76 acres. And in essence, their open space, I can agree to, but they're not taking into account the existing creek. They call it a creek or a creek. Throughout the packet, they call it a creek. There is no creek on that property. It's the Bazan drain. And the Bazan drain is a width for its entirety. And it can't have anything on top of it unless they get approved from the Ottawa County Commission. And they haven't called them. I called them 4 months ago to talk about this project, and they stayed with it. They still don't know. Neither did Township until I called them the same day. So they're getting approval for you guys first, and then backtracking to get approval from everybody else. In fact, we has idea, and so when they talk about this kind of stuff, I got more than 2 minutes to talk about. So in essence, I'm asking you to stop the project until they get their numbers straight. Because what they call open space and where they put this picnic area is across from the Bazan drain. All the net property that is north and east of the Bazan drain is unbuildable because there is no access to it. You can't move the top of the Bazan drain to get to it. And in order to put utilities like sewer and water, some electrical and gas, they have to Bazan drain. And the Bazan drain is supposed to that drain. Equipment, machinery. So in essence, what I'm asking you to stop this project until you get more accurate information from the developer. And what I want to do is hand out the Bazan drain map. And a copy of my verbiage that I was going to say. And it's a save time. Am I allowed to approach? It's very clear.
Would anyone else like to talk to this one? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on the stable wood. I guess it. Stable wood PUD. All right. Okay, the next PUD. All right. Next PUD is for a update for our ordinance. And if you're interested in talking to the peddler ordinance, let me know. Come on to the podium. Yeah, it's a regular thing that we do at the township is to. Close the public hearing. Yes, we did. I did. Yep, I did. So and on a regular basis, we take an opportunity when it's a little slower on our schedule to identify ordinances in our purview that needed to be updated. And so thank you to Manager Cousins who took on the updating of this particular ordinance, the peddler's ordinance. And I think he did a great job and should be a benchmark for any other community. And it's been out for public hearing or public review for the last month. And I see no one coming to the podium to talk to the peddler's ordinance. And so I will open and close the public hearing. So on that one. So that one's done. All right. So the next one is a public hearing on the Camp Price Farms Industrial Development District. Is there anyone who would like to speak to that one? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing on that one. That went faster than I thought. Thank you for thank you. All right. Okay, so now we're going back to action items on these items. And I first, before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to our planning commission and to our zoning team, Mika, for delivering literally inches of data. But also, this doesn't reflect the hours and time that you guys spend on these documents. And I just want to say thank you. Public service is difficult at times when it's public. And I just want to say thank you to our volunteers. And yeah, they get an extra buck or two, but truly it's a volunteer service. So I want to thank you, our planning commission, and our wise guidance from our legal counsel, Dan, throughout this whole process. So I just want to, before we jump into it, I want to say thank you. These things don't come together easily. And so thank you. So moving to the first one, Point West PUD, there's a recommendation. Mika, would you like to come and just guide us through this particular PUD?
Sure. Yeah, I can introduce it briefly, and then the applicant is here as well, and they can speak to it as well if you'd like. So the Point West 1 PUD, this is an amendment to an existing PUD. No building, no structural changes are being requested as part of this application. The Point West 1 PUD was approved in 2011. It's in the Macatawa Park area, has a combination of cottages, lots of private roads, and the issue before you today is the question of the open space. There's a piece of the open space that's under private ownership. That's been the case since the PUD was set up, which is a little bit unusual. Typically, if it's an open space, it's owned by the neighborhood. But in this case, it was owned by one individual, sold to another individual who's here today. And the request is to split this space between multiple property owners. The intent is that each of these owners would like to have a little bit more control over the property that's behind them. And it's a dune area. It's a wooded area. It would be very difficult to build on. This application was at the Planning Commission a few different times, discussing both the purpose of the PUD amendment because it's a little more unusual, and also the big concern that came out was making sure that this remained that open wooded space and that the dune would be protected. And so the Planning Commission recommended approval on the condition that there be a maintenance agreement, and that's been included in your packet. So based on that, we recommend the approval of this PUD amendment.
Sure. Yes, please.
So reading the document from Rhodes McKee, they talk about the township ordinance, our tree ordinance. So I'm curious to know if it's as written today. I know the Planning Commission is currently upgrading that. And there's a lot of discussion, and the entire last meeting was on the tree ordinance. So I didn't know if it would be applicable for future revision or current revision.
Yeah, and is that the August 8? Yeah, so as it came out of the Planning Commission, the last recommendation was more along the lines of the Eagle guidance. And then as is in the, see, I have it in front of me, the maintenance agreement, it's the similar language that we've included in the other PUDs recently that have the trees. And so it talks about kind of replacement of trees and I can look up the verbiage, but it's a replacement of trees. So rather than go directly from the current tree preservation ordinance, the current tree preservation ordinance is specific to development. And so the concepts applied, but it wouldn't be enforceable on this property because there isn't any. So it's the concept that were put into the maintenance agreement.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mika?
My only question was, did all of the residents agree to the sale?
Those residents, meaning
the ones that were part of that proposal, what, 17, 19?
Yeah, and I'll let the applicant speak to that more specifically, but my understanding is that they have purchase agreements or some kind of contractual agreement that property will be changing hands in that way.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to know that percentage.
If you wanted to.
Can I just maybe address that question first?
Sure, do it.
Hi, my name is John Anders. I'm the attorney representing the group that's kind of working through this process from start to hopefully finish tonight of this element of it. But to answer your question, I guess maybe to explain exactly why we're here doing this to begin with. Essentially, as Mika pointed out, it's a single parcel that my client purchased in order to build or in sort of essentially build a home on a lot that was left over in the PUD. And it was presented that this 3 acre and change parcel was a solution to that. And essentially what the design is that, okay, one person should not necessarily control and maintain this 3+ acre hillside steep critical dune. It should rest with the responsibility of those that abut it. One of the gentlemen that spoke during public comment, this does a lot more than just backyards in the critical dune. It also affects some roadways and some weird gaps that have been left
as this area has been developed. And the long and short of it is we're here because this is sort of a precursor to us requesting a boundary line adjustment. And it's that boundary line adjustment that would sort of create and take sections of this area and add it to existing homeowners' lots. And we do have purchase agreements or contracts with each of those individual homeowners or buyers to essentially purchase that section of this lot and attach it to their existing tax parcel. It's a little complicated to talk about in the abstract, but if there's a more specific question I can answer, be happy to. Like everybody that essentially is on that drawing that abuts this section that is agreed to purchase, we've got an agreement there.
Super. Good. Any other questions for our applicant and or Mika? Great. Entertain a motion on this PUD.
I'll make a motion. We accept the PUD as presented for the Point West 1 PUD.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Sharon. Any other questions before we take a vote? Any inquiries or questions on the motion? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed, and motion passes. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your patience through the process. You bet. You bet. You bet. We'll pause here and allow a couple audience members leave. Oh, sure. Please. I'm just getting my paperwork in front of me. All right. I'm not going to engage in conversation. Thank you. All right, that was the public during the public comment. We're going to take up the Fox Club PUD, and Mika, if you could guide us through this one as well. Thank you for your summary on the project. Again, thank you for the Planning Commission's correspondence on this. Very informative.
Yes, and again, the applicant is here and can answer questions about this as well. So this is an application by Mr. Bosgraf. He visited the Planning Commission in July, August, and October to discuss this application. And it's a 15-acre parcel on the south side of Park Township. It's on 32nd Street, so it's just north of Allegan County, just west of Old Orchard Road. It's a site condominium, planned unit development, 32 single-family homes with private roads and a dry retention area, as well as a neighborhood pool and a fire pit. Now, the term site condominium can throw people a little bit. These are single-family homes, and the site condominium is just the way that the land is divided. So it's going to look like any other single-family neighborhood. Underlying zoning district is the R3 zoning district, which is low density residential. And this, although it's a planned unit development, our PUDs are required to meet the density requirements of the underlying zoning district. So the number of homes that are present on this parcel are permitted by the underlying zoning district. Some of the things with the PUD are that it allows for more flexibility, more creativity from the developer. And so the actual parcel sizes are a little bit smaller. Those are comparable to those in the surrounding neighborhood. They're more similar to those in an R4 zoning district, which is on the future land use map also permitted in this area. So it's right in line with what we're looking for there. There was a lot of conversation during the application process about the connectivity. The developer had gone back and looked at a couple of different options as far as where to align the streets. And I had talked to the fire chief, who was at our last planning commission meeting, and he's also here tonight, so he can answer any questions about that. And also had the Ottawa County Road Commission take a look at this and look for any safety concerns that they had. On 32nd Street, they are going to be requiring, I think, a turn lane there. They're going to be requiring a little bit of an expansion of the right of way there. So turning vehicles, that was their area of concern. They didn't indicate that they had any concerns about traffic on Jerome. They said, you know, there is likely to be an increase. It's probably going to, and this, I don't recall if they said this or this was part of other conversations, so I don't want to attribute that if it wasn't them, but more likely that more of the traffic will be going down towards 32nd Street than going up through the neighborhood, but we do expect that they would see some increase. It is a narrow street there on Jerome. Let's see, there were a couple comments. I think, oh, the drainage comment. This is something and this goes as well for the next application. So prior to going to the Planning Commission, prior to any kind of review, these go to our technical team. We just recently added the Ottawa County Water Resources to that, so they haven't been to one of those meetings previously, but our engineers are at those. They do an initial evaluation, and then Ottawa County Water Resources is required to sign off. And that's usually more part of the construction phase of the project. But our engineers have looked at this as well as far as that drainage does have a dry basin here, and they didn't express any concerns. So that'll be looked at a little bit more deeply as this continues through the process. This is kind of the close of the process publicly, but it's really just the beginning of the process when it comes to building. I think that's all of this one. The Planning Commission had recommended approval of the project.
Any questions for Mika? Your microphone. Yep.
The two access points.
Yes.
Because they're proposing 32 houses.
I think the fire chief could speak to that and maybe the developer as well. So based on my understanding, if you're at or over 32 units, then you need to add sprinkling unless you have 2 access points. So I think that's the fire element. I didn't misspeak that. And then the connectivity, as far as it's not a requirement, but as far as allowing for secondary access, if one part is blocked during an emergency, you've got a way to get an ambulance in and that sort of thing. The 32 is related to when indoor sprinkling is required.
Okay, so less than, okay, yeah, that's okay. Yep. All right.
It's 32 now.
But Mike, does that represent what you're thinking?
I'm Mike Bosgraf Homes. I can probably address that. I believe that International Fire Code has a restriction. I believe it's 30 or 32. After that, on one entranceway, you have to go to sprinkling. So the number is somewhere in that range. That really wasn't the primary concern. Your actual ordinance requires connectivity, or encourages connectivity. In addition, the fire chief, was encouraging connectivity. We did have, 3-4 planning commission meetings. This was probably the primary issue. We did go back several times. We had probably 4 or 5 different reiterations. One of the other concerns or problems that we were running into is there is a restriction on how long you can have a cul-de-sac street. And so with one entranceway, we were getting too long of a street. So we really had to either, wrap out to Jerome, or we have to wrap around and go back out to 32nd Street, which was kind of frowned upon by Ottawa County Road Commission, having 2 entrances there. So we did, really struggle with the 1 or 2 entranceways. And we felt that it was more in line with your ordinances, as well as, our desire to have, a little more of a flowing street design. We just weren't, when we came back to 32nd, if we were to fight that one, it just gridded out, and it looked like a, old fashioned subdivision that was just gridded out. There was a quick conversation about narrow streets. Basically, Park Township adopted the International Fire Code for street design, and we were actually not suggesting a narrower street. It came up at the Planning Commission whether we'd think about a narrower street. And at that point, I basically said that I wasn't really willing to go battle against the fire chief and the size of his streets. So we do have the wider street, which is in line with what the fire chief was requesting, what International Fire Code was requesting. I think the last real item was, the conversation about the drain, and Mika is definitely right. We still have to go. We've had preliminary meetings with the drain commissioner and the drain department. The new, that's not really new, but primary ordinance requires that all water that we're developing on site has to first be contained on site. So right now it might sheet drain, off site. We now have to make sure all that water stays on site. And that's why we have the big retention basin. So if anything, we should be improving the drainage in that area if there was a problem. And we still have to go get final approval for that, but we're in contact with them, but we don't believe there's going to be an issue there.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I don't know if this is for the applicant or not, but I am, I guess, a little bit on the side of the Jerome Street people. Living on in a subdivision that has very, very narrow streets and no sidewalks is a real hazard. And we have people walking through our neighborhoods constantly. So my question is there anything you can do for the residents on Jerome Street? Is there any way that sidewalks could possibly be put in or some way to help the people on Jerome Street?
I wonder if that's something that Mr. Martin could speak to.
The township cannot, as a condition of a PUD approval, require off-site improvements. That would violate the United States Constitution.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
That's hard.
Sure. Any comments as it has gone through the planning commission?
Mr. Boscraft is correct that we saw this more than several times and we continued to ask him to come back with changes and modifications. It was equally stressed, safety on Jerome Street by a number of individuals in public comment, as well as a couple of individuals on the board itself. So the vote wasn't always even, but in the end, it ended up getting approved based on our ordinance requirements and input that Chief Hamby provided with where his fire trucks were going to come down if need be, or ambulances.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Any final comments before we take a vote? All right, I'll entertain a motion for the Stable Wood PUD.
I believe this is Fox Club.
Oh, I'm one ahead. I'm sorry. Thank Dan. Yes, thank you, Dan, for the correction. I'm looking down on my list. Fox Club. Anything on the Fox Club PUD? I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion. We approve the Fox Love Site Condominium PUD as recommended from the Planning Commission.
I'll support that. Any other comments or questions before we take a vote?
Just along the same line with Clerk Zero. After the fact, and the residents of Jerome petition or request something from the Iowa County Road Commission that their avenue be looked at as far as safety, adding sidewalks or widening it. I don't know if they're doing that. And I don't know if there's the answer.
I think we request that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Bill.
You can help facilitate.
Good. Anyway, yeah.
I was gonna say the township can help facilitate that discussion with the road commission.
Can a traffic count be done before and after it's in and see how it's changed?
I can request that of the road commission. I don't know why we couldn't. Look at the.
Good call. All right, we have a motion on the floor and supported. No, public comment is complete. Thank you. Okay, so motion on the floor and comments made. Thank you. Appreciate the work that's been done on this. Take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna do a count. That was a little inconsistent there. Roll call, please, from the clerk observe.
Trustee Clark,
No.
trustee Gerard,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
No.
trustee Surnack,
No.
supervisor School,
Yes.
and clerk, 0, no.
All right, motion does not pass. All right. Moving on to the next one. Okay, so we'll move to the statement of PUD. Statement of PUD. Mika, thank you for guiding us on this one. All right, you're on.
So the proposed stable development is a planned unit development. It has 81 units. Those are townhomes, 2 to 4 units with varying site plans. And then there's one single family home that'll be on the parcel as well. This is a 22.75 acre parcel on the north side of Park Township, west side of 144th Avenue, just north of Butternut Drive. The underlying zoning for this parcel is R5, which is low-density multifamily residential. So they're well below the maximum density for this parcel with this zoning district. There was already reference to the creek that's going across the Bazan drain. Our engineers have taken a look at that. I can't speak to the specifics of exactly where the drainage, where that corridor goes, but that again is something that will be evaluated much more closely as we go on. So if there's anything that we missed in this initial review, that's something that will need to be approved before there's any kind of construction in the process. But it has been at least looked at. It is a lot of the conversation with this parcel is around tree preservation. It's a very heavily wooded parcel as it exists. So we did a calculation this time based on an estimation of the canopy in combination with counting, actual physically counting of the trees kind of around some of the edges to try to come to an estimate of about how many trees are on the property as far as that replacement value goes. In the end, the Planning Commission determined that this did meet the standards of requirement and recommended it for approval.
Thank you, Mika. Any questions for Mika?
Is that, who lives in the middle of all of this?
I'm sorry?
Who's in the middle of all of this?
I don't know.
Somewhat, it's a private
Somewhat.
resident.
Yes, it will be, it's part of the development, but it is just a private residence, yeah.
And I believe it's empty right now.
Okay.
It's not empty.
Oh, it's not.
It's not.
Thank you for that correction.
But it's, I really should have rephrased the question. Is it a private residence in the middle of the development?
It's like yes and no. It's part of the development, but it is a private residence, so it's not excluded from it. But it's not like a clubhouse or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
This may be too late of a question, but did we rezone this to an R3?
It was rezoned to an R5 about a year ago in that neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, and it's consistent with the future land use map. So this section in Park Township that is adjacent to Holland Charter Township. adjacent to some commercial areas. There's available water and sewer, as well as some roadway capacity in this area. And so this was the area that when we looked at, okay, we know that we need more housing in this area. We know that we need to figure out how to accommodate some of this within Park Township and still feel like Park Township. This was the area that during the master planning process, not just during this master planning process, but past processes, it's not a change from past plans, but this is the area that was really targeted for a little bit more growth.
So that will affect all the houses around that area that are R3 as well? They'll be changed to R5?
Only if they request it. So rezoning is done. We can proactively rezone a parcel. We've talked about doing that with a couple of zoning parcels, but typically we wait for the landowner to submit an application for rezoning.
Okay. It just seems a little bit weird to have R3 all the way around it and R5 in the middle. And does that qualify for any spot zoning?
Not because it's in alignment with the future land use map, and it's kind of intended not as a big leap either, but as kind of an incremental increase in that density.
Addition at size of 22 acres, that's gonna be a lot different than if you have a small quarter acre or even 1 acre parcel that is low spots on it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Mika? Any questions for the applicant?
Just real quick out of curiosity, and maybe it was in the, I read a lot of pages in preparation. What is the price point on these homes?
It has not 100% been determined. The intention is for it to be a more affordable project. So hoping that will be somewhere in that 325 to low 400 range. So as time goes on, I think we could see that move up a little bit. But initially, that's the initial projection. So which may still seem like a lot of money, but does still fall into what would be considered affordable, certainly in a new construction world. So.
Thank you.
I just have a few quick comments. My name is Chuck Hoyt. I'm with Naderveld here on behalf of the applicant. Just very briefly, first of all, just a note of appreciation to planning staff that we worked with. This was a long process, right? It started off with the rezone and going through many sections of your ordinance, everything from the PUD section of your ordinance, your site plan, ponds, tree preservation, buffers. So there's a lot to get through. So a note of appreciation to staff because it's a lot to wade through. As noted, it was rezoned to R5, which is the highest density zone district in Park Township. That was in alignment with the master plan. But again, just a note that we are roughly half of what the density that would be allowed on this site. So we could double the number of units and still be within that R5 zone district. So we feel like this is sort of a nice transition of that high to medium density on this site. One quick note that I noticed in the staff report, and I'll point to section. Bear with me here for just a moment. Item number 18, the tree preservation. The very first sentence notes a 50-foot tree preservation buffer to the south, west, north property lines. We had actually shown a 30-foot, and that's what had been discussed in all the planning commission discussions and all the submittals that we provided. So I guess, I don't know if that was a typo, but I wanted to make sure that that was clarified in any of the meeting minutes or any of the approved documents that we show a 30-foot buffer.
Mika, you want to confirm that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good, thank you. All right.
And then finally, a note about that Bazan drain. Okay, There would have been documentation in the planning commission submittals. You may or may not have it in yours. But it's been something further than just a quick review from Ken Bosma, your township engineer, and Joe Bush from the Ottawa County Water Resource Commission. We engaged them early on. We talked in pretty specific detail about how we were going to cross that drain. There's going to be a fairly specific engineering detail that needed to get worked out with them early on. So we needed their blessing in the concept of it. They approved. We talked some specific details with them. They approved it. We provided that documentation in the Planning Commission submittal. I don't know if you have all of those documents from the Planning Commission, but what you would see in there is acknowledgement from both the Ottawa County Water Resource Commissioner and your township engineer acknowledging the crossing of Bazan Drain for the utilities on this site. You should also know that it will require an Eagle permit to do that crossing. That application is already underway. Actually, there's a site visit that's going to happen next week with the Eagle representative. So all of that process is well underway and documented in your file as well. So thank you very much.
Chair, may I address?
Sure, please.
Thank you for that explanation. Looking at the map, it does appear, and remembering now from our conversation, you left space, you straddled the drain. There's not a house on top of it.
No, there's not. No. There's no house on top of the drain. I promise you that. We need to cross. There is a crossing right now, actually, but it's just a simple like driveway crossing. We of course need to cross it with not only a drive, but utilities as well. And again, that's the documentation that we have in the file.
Any other questions for the applicant or or Mika? I appreciate the question about the pricing. I went to a presentation this morning about workforce housing, which continues to be a challenge in our community across the wider Holland community, that there's not enough homes in the price range where our workforce can buy. So this is in the range that we can assist in our community, provide homes for folks who live in the workforce or who need to have homes like this. So well done, team, on this. Okay, so I don't see any other questions or comments about this one. Okay, Brian?
Need a clarification on the 30-year change.
Mika is looking it up, and I guess thank you for your.
I am still looking. I've found that is the same as it read in the Planning Commission resolution end report, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't a typo in there that had been missed either. So I'm going through the minutes right now. They're a little bit long, but that is also something the board can also take a look at and decide. So I'll continue to go through the minutes and see if I can find anything different.
Make a motion, I mentioned the motion on that.
That is a good question. How do you make a motion with the provision that we're clarifying width? Dan?
You could make a motion that specifically addresses the 30 versus 50 feet. As I was looking at Mika's report, and I apologize, I have it in the full packet, it's on page 237. Where it says tree preservation buffer, it says the planning commission recommends the buffer shown on C-901 of the attached plan. Which you've got in a sense in front of you. I looked at it, I didn't see a dimension to that buffer. But it's shown, and if you have a scale, it'd be in terms of what it was.
Yeah, if I may, if you look at sheet L100 in your sheet, it's in or if you're looking at it now, sheet L100, there's multiple locations where it calls out a 30-foot buffer.
Oh.
And again, I apologize. You're talking from 100. The report of Mika said the planning commission recommends a buffer shown on C-901. I don't know L100 and 901, C-901 are identical, similar, if they're different. But I know Mika's recommended. Mika's staff report said that the police recommended the buffer on C-901.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Showing.
Yeah, so the 901 sheet is not going to show a dimension. Really our landscape plan, which is the one that really identifies tree preservation. You'll note that it identifies on there in several different locations a proposed 30-foot property buffer.
Which corner are we talking about? Which buffer was the entire interior thing or so? Yeah.
It's around the perimeter of the site.
Yeah, okay.
Where does the 30s 50? Doesn't implicate the whole site because you got way more than that in some areas. There's only a couple of areas where the 30 or the 50 would be an issue. Is that correct?
I guess I'm not understanding your question.
Yeah, where the housing is tight, right? Where the housing is tight, that's
Right. So they're in that spot here, where there's an issue, correct?
yeah, right here. You know, it's this. That's the.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, so the only thing that really is about.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's just 30.
Yeah, if your question is the 50 going to be a problem? For the most part, no, but there's a few spots that could. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so. Oh, we had intended 30, that's why we showed it on the print. I just wanted to clarify it.
No. All right. You okay? We're making a motion with that in mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're making a motion as written, or we're making a motion where only one.
Well, the print is showing 30. I think we can't, I don't think we're on call out specific areas. I think we just say it's on 30.
Right.
Yeah,
So basically, based upon the plans, or ask them to come back with revised plans if you wanted that change.
Right. As it relates to C30 or C3 or L100 or whatever that print I just looked at. Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the State Road condominium planned unit development. As with the exception that it's the 30 feet, not the 50 feet as called out in the docs. But yet shown on the other
On the print.
print.
But did you catch that, Danielle? Okay. And Mika can confirm that you're still working it. You had a few pages a minute. All right. Okay, so the motion, if you can restate it, you approve the PUD with the intent of the print being the primary 30 feet. Not what the
50 is.
Has written the.
It's noted on the drawing.
Yep. All right. Any support?
I'll support.
Thank you, sir. All right, any further questions on this? Thank you for the clarification on the drain. That was important for us to understand, so thank you for that. I understand, Mr. Bush will not allow much to go through. Don't mess with Mr. Bush's drains. I have full confidence in him that he will maintain his drains. Yeah, I'm gonna call for a vote. So all in favor of the stable wood PUD as the motion as it stands, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Congratulations. All right. Howard. Thank you. All right, jumping into the peddler's ordinance. I would be surprised if there's much discussion about this one. Bill, thank you for guiding us last time about it. And any questions as if your eyes were still open after, let's see, pages 350 or how long were we? 340. All right, there we go. 346. Any observations or questions for Bill as we take up the updating of the peddler's ordinance? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain. I will make the motion because I requested it. So I'll make a motion to pass the revised peddler's ordinance. Support.
Go ahead.
I'll support.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions? All right. All in favor of the updated peddler's ordinance, say aye.
Emergency is best.
Roll call. Thank you for that clarification, Stan. Clerk, Zero.
Okay. Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Gerard,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Sernay,
Yes.
supervisor Spluhoff.
Yes.
And clerk Syrup, yes. Motion passes.
Great. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. All right. 36. Oh, I got to the right one. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the next one is the Camp Ice Farms IDD application. Bill, would you remind us? You introduced it last month, and we're acting on it today.
Public Act 198 of the state of Michigan of 1974 created the opportunity for certain more usually industrial uses to have expansion of their building and of their processes and get a tax break for a number of years. To do that, then the local community has to create a policy for that process, which you approved at the last month's meeting. Camp Ice Farms is now before you today to create that district, which then gives them, if it's approved, the opportunity to provide plans and details of their proposed or ongoing construction project, increase in taxable value to the community, a number of employees that might be hired for the new expanded process. So this just sets up the district so we know exactly where this use will be expanded. And then our next step would be to get into the minutia about how it's going to work, how many years of tax break they're looking for, and the cost of the project along with possible increase in employees.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Manager Cousins on this application? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for the motion to approve this Camp Ice Farms IDD application or resolution.
I'll make a motion to.
Thank you, Joe. Support. Great, thanks. I'm not familiar with this particular IDD item. Is that a roll call as well?
Yes.
Okay, all right, roll call, please.
Okay, trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Gerard,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Sernay,
Yes.
supervisor Spluhoff.
Yes.
And clerk Syrup, yes.
The motion passes. Thank you. All right, congratulations, Camp Ice Farms. Yes, please.
Here, probably one of the state cities.
Would you like to say something? Yeah, please. Yeah, we got it clipped along here.
I just first wanted to thank Bill for explaining it better than I could. And I am here alongside Eric Campice from Campice Farms. My name is Colin Cady. I'm the Business Solutions Manager for Lakeshore Advantage, the local economic development organization for Ottawa and Allegan counties. So if you did have any questions from Eric about his business in the future, we are happy to answer any of them.
Any questions from Mr. Campus? All right. Yeah, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your investment in the community. All right. Okay. Going faster than I thought. All right. We're on to the second page of the agenda. This is a item that Mike is going to introduce. This is we're not making necessarily a decision on this unless we want to take action on it, but it's more of an introduction of an idea. And Mike, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Mike is one of our excellent cemetery sextons. And so if you have questions about how they all work. He's the man along with Dave. So thank you for leading that end of our really important side of our business, our offerings to our residents. And so you do it with great excellence. And so thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So please tell us about the.
But I come to you today as a resident. It's 430 South Lake Shore Drive here in Park Township. And my wife and I recently had a pet of ours pass, and that was in October. And we had heard about Rainbow Bridge, and we were very familiar with the poem, which was actually developed back in the 1950s in Scotland. A young lady, 18 years old, wrote the poem. Somehow it found its way here to the US when a young lady from Grand Rapids sent it to Dear Abby in the 1990s. And Dear Abby published the poem, and it became very popular at that time. And the gist of the poem is basically that an animal, when they pass, will go to the Rainbow Bridge and wait for their own to pass, and then join them, and they go across to heaven together. And so we have recently seen throughout the country and quite frankly throughout the world, symbolisms, bridges that have been built, in our case, a 10-foot by 4-foot type bridge, where people can hang either a dog tag or a collar on there as a memorial for their beloved pet. And so we have approached Bill and Steve and the township about the concept of using a road end at 168th and Ottawa Beach Road, where to the south of Ottawa Beach Road at 168th, there is a parcel of land that is basically no man's land. And we're proposing to use that space to build a rainbow bridge. And the pictures you have there in front of you, I hope, that are the design as well as the landscape proposal for the area. And we created a nonprofit recently approved by the IRS as a 501c3 so that we can raise funds to do this. The intent being that there will be no cost to the township or the residents for this. It will be supported through community donations. Not only for the building of it, for the ongoing maintenance thereafter. So if I can answer any questions, we've dragged our feet, to be quite frank, with actually doing fundraising or really making it popular at this point, only because we wanted to make sure that we had the support of the board before we go forward and actually start collecting donations from people to actually facilitate this. But our hope would be to, in late spring or during the summer, to actually build it. I have approached 7 scouting troops here in the 7-mile radius of here, recently as last Monday, to see if they have an interest in participating in it. Several of the ones that we've seen done across the country were actually done by Eagle Scout projects and things like that. And so there's a possibility that we may have support that way as well when the time comes. So if I can answer any questions.
The lot in question, is that Park Township property?
It's part of the 168th Street right of way. That's road, county road.
Do we have to get permission?
Yes, yeah, I put into my memo to the board that if you're willing to allow us to look at this further, we would go to the road commission and go through, find out what process they would require to make this happen. And move that part forward. And again, to verify that as a board, you say, yeah, take a look at it, go a little deeper, then Mike would bring back a final proposal with road commission approval, that type of thing, so that you could take final action on the process.
My other wondering was, I know there's some parking along Ottawa Beach Road there, but that would probably still come from discussions with the road commission and Ottawa County as to if there's any safety concerns there.
Yeah, this location, quite frankly, is quite premium for this because there's parallel parking right there. That right along DNR property, if you will.
It's parking for the vehicles that are headed to the east. So if anyone parked there, they'd be getting out of their vehicle and staying on that side of the road.
Correct.
To the Rainbow Bridge. So again, the goal tonight is just to see what your feelings are about Rainbow Bridge and about the possible location. And then we can move forward with a firm proposal from there.
I don't have a problem with it. My only question would be how many people are going to be crossing Ottawa Beach to get here, to get there. And as long as there's safety concerns are addressed, no issue.
There is a stop sign and a crosswalk there, I believe.
But I will say that cars do not stop
They
for
do not.
pedestrians to go by.
For pedestrians or dogs.
Yeah, for pedestrians. I would like to see one of those lighted where you hit the button and tell cars to stop. That is a busy sidewalk, but that's another issue. But maybe that will help get it done.
Is there any other locations for it, or is this the only location?
This is the most premium location, being right next to Lake Mac. It creates the setting, if you will, for a memorial type of a location like that. We have looked at a secondary location if necessary, and it would be the park, and I can't remember the name of the park that's right here at the far end of this property. Recently developed, I'm sorry?
Cooper Vineyard.
Yes. We looked at there as a possible secondary location if necessary, but the location at 168th and Ottawa Beach Road would be pristine because of the setting, if you will, and the parking.
You would have good parking at Cooper Van Wieren as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Oh, you know.
the question that we have tonight is the board interested in allowing Manager Cousins to investigate this idea in its current location that's presented, and then come back along with Mike and say, hey, this would be some of the requirements from the Ottawa County Road Commission. And then Mike could give us a little more detail on the project. Obviously, it's a no cost one to us. That's a win. I mean,
I am very interested in it. I think it's a very cool concept and something that would be value add to the township and would support investigating.
having lost a dog in the spring, I would support it as well. Anyone else? I see some nods. All right, I think you have affirmation that the idea is encouraged. We're not taking a vote on today because we don't have a necessary proposal on it, but I would say that you have the nod of encouragement to go forward.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for presenting this. All right. Okay, this is time for our second public comment. I'm going to open it up. Is anyone from left side? You should be happy, so you can tell us how happy you are. No, okay. I mean,
Paid, but it says managers.
manager's report first. Okay, yes, you're not a pain, Jim. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Bill. I'm just eager to get to the public comments. There's so many of them today.
I have my report. I just want to point out that the maintenance crew has been working on improvements and repairs to this building. The supervisor had been kept away from his office for almost 2 weeks. Should be finished tomorrow. So we're doing repairs to that room from an old roof leak. That the roof leak got fixed, but the interior part still needed to be finalized. We've got that all fixed. We're almost done with the painting. As long as they were here doing that, we've started repainting the conference room behind us. And that will be finished in the next week or two. And then depending on snow clearing, this room will be next. There's some cracks in the ceiling that need to be fixed. And so we're going to take care of things so that our property is pristine and usable for years to come. Any questions on my report? I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay. Good. And just a reminder to my colleagues, Bill is always available, and he's a wealth of knowledge, but also very available for advice, and it's been a pleasure to work with you, Bill. Hey, so all right, so eagerness, I'll get into the public comment. So this is our second opportunity for public comment, and you heard a lot tonight, and maybe you have something to say about that or something else. So I encourage anyone who might have something to say to come to the podium. All right, seeing none, I will close the public comment. All right. Hey, so board comments, just I'll start on the left side. My left, your right. Lauren.
Mr. Cousins and I and a couple of board members were trying to get together a meeting, if you will, and we're talking about changing some of the things on the lease agreement. We got one of the members of the fair board that's been on vacation for a couple of weeks, but he comes back tomorrow, so hopefully we can pinpoint a time down. So nothing really else well, I can follow up with Trustee Jones's comment last month. They did change their contracts for their larger rentals that they must have police presence for traffic. So that has been taken care of. And then on the ZBA, we had one item Monday night and it has been tabled, so.
Okay, all right. Super, thank you, Lauren.
No comments.
Okay, all right. Good. Brian?
We have a new representative from the fair. Don't stand up and introduce yourself. I think it'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, please. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
I was just sitting back there, I like myself. I'm deputy reporter. I'm in the sheriff's office for.
Can you come to, why don't you come so our audience online can hear your voice?
You should tell me to talk to you.
Thank you, Eric.
Good evening. I'm Deputy Eric Porter, Sheriff's Office. I've been with Ottawa County for 13 years, and prior to that, I was with the City of Cedar Springs Police Department for 15 years, total law enforcement activity. 10 years of my career with the Sheriff's Office, I've been down here in the Park, Holland, Zillen, Port Sheldon, Olive area, which was my main patrol district. As of January 5th, I am the new Park Township Community Police and Deputy. So I'm excited to be a part of this township, and then I've met some of you already prior to Deputy Jones leaving us. I'm certainly excited.
Okay. Excited to have you on board. Thank you, Eric, and look forward to having you in our community and representing us in all the different ways you do. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll let you know he's already in the community because we're working on some minor traffic issues in the middle of winter, and you've been here a week and you're into things already. So we're.
Yes.
Thank you.
That partnership is so great for what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Only update from planning commission, our last meeting was 100% focused on tree preservation ordinance, so we're still working through that. It's not.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Nothing. Okay, super. Let's see. My report is I'll represent the subcommittee that was on the manager search. And we met prior to the meeting, and we have made a decision to on the final candidates for us to interview. Because of the confidentiality that they've requested, we will not announce the names until they accept the interview. So that's the process. They accept the interview, then their name will become public. But Manager Cousins and I will talk to those 2 or 3 candidates in the next 24 hours. We are going to request a Saturday morning meeting on January 17th. And I'd like to request our board and Park Township department heads to be at the Township Hall by 9 o'clock. Now we're going to request the applicants to be early, and they'll take a tour of our township prior to that, but then we'll be tasked to interview the candidates 2 or 3, depending on how the responses are on that morning. So I just want to, please.
You said 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. for the board and the department's heads. And the employees are also invited to attend as well. So if there's interest, please come, because this is a very key hire. I just want to say thank you to Kurt Wassing and Connie and Bill. They did the heavy lifting, getting the word out. We had 150 applicants
It's actually 145.
145. We had 145 applicants. Amazing. When you put manager into a job description, you do get managers applying. Not all had municipal experience, but if you recall, when we talked about the qualifications for our job, we did say municipal experience is highly preferred. And I can just relate to my colleagues that we have an exceptional pool of candidates to interview. You will not be disappointed. So pretty excited about this. So yeah, that's a fun update for me to give. So, with that, just an update on the January 15 date. Our work session is going to be at the Mottman Center. And Bill, you were going to talk just briefly about the agenda of what that might.
With 2 items on the agenda for next Thursday. One will be to have the commissioners look at the Mottman Center and talk about what kind of refresh we want to do there and what we're going to then put into the budget for the next year or 2 years. That building is used quite extensively, but it does need some updating. Some of the kitchen cupboards, for example, are probably dated 1958 or 9. They've been there a while. So things like that, we want you to look at and then tell us what you want fixed and repaired and maybe expanded on, so we can keep that as a primary primary use for folks to rent for various items. So we've got that. And the second thing then will be a review of the 2025 strategic plan. With the hiring of the manager, we're kind of putting off the new strategic plan, or the complete review, or rewrite rather, but we'll review where we're at with that and get that ready for the new manager to take over and work with you going forward.
Any questions on that agenda?
Gary 29.
Oh, yes, on the January 29, who's available on January 29? Meek left. Okay. Oh, no, the other. Did you have it? Is the planning commission, will they be available for a joint meeting? Feedback? Okay. Okay, hold that day loosely. There's only like three fifth Thursdays in the calendar throughout the year. And we kind of tentatively said, can we meet with the planning commission jointly and have a joint meeting, talk about issues they're raising and we're envisioning, does the board, do we understand each other? And so if all handlers can align and we can get a quorum or a good turnout, we would meet on the 29th. If we can't, we'll just push it out to a different date. Maybe we go to another third Thursday in February or March. But actually, who is even on the board? Maybe we can make a decision right now. You're not. Okay, who's available on the 29th? You have to check. You have to check.
I could be.
You could be. You could be. Okay. All right. So we'll hold this loosely. If Shar and Jim are not available, I'd say there's a no-go. So let us know how that goes. Well, that's a quick. If we don't have a good consensus on the board, then there's no sense us meeting with the planning commission. That'd be insincere that we represent the whole board, just the three of us. So because Jan will be in Florida.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll do a real schedule check on that, Mika, and we'll wait for these two folks to check their calendars. All right. Okay. Thank you. Kind of logistics stuff here. All right. Motion to adjourn. That was quick. All right. Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thanks, Lauren.